Hey guys, Krolek back again with MMT Labs. Today we're talking about volume profile visible range. It's an overlay indicator that calculates exactly where volume has been transacted for price that is currently visible on your chart. In this video we'll go over what the VPVR is, how to set it up, and how to use it. Let's get into it. Jumping into the terminal, we can get VPVR on our charts by going to the Indicators tab, MMT Official, typing it in, and clicking on the indicator. As a volume profile, it shows us at what price levels volume has been transacted and relative amounts for the price data currently visible on our chart. The red part of the row indicates the quantity of market selling at that particular price, and the blue part is the market buying. Together, they make the total volume. You can see that if I scroll up, the VPVR will change and illustrate where volume is being transacted for the price currently on the screen. Volume can only be transacted where price is or has been, so there is a very strong correlation between the two. As an example, you can see that the widest points of the VPVR are generally regions where price has spent the most time. These are called the high volume nodes. The highest high volume node is called the point of control, or POC. The regions where price has transacted the lowest volume are called the low volume nodes, the thinner parts of the profile. The bright area on the volume profile represents approximately 70% of the total volume transacted, or one standard deviation. It is called the value area, and the top of the value area is called the value area high, and the low of the value area is called the value area low. To learn more about range and auction market theory, check out the MMT Academy. Jumping into the settings, there are three modes for this indicator: standard, total volume, and total volume plus delta. On standard, it will just show you the buyers plus the sell volume. Total volume simplifies this and just adds them together. Total volume plus delta is the most unique of the modes. The dark shaded area represents the total volume. The medium shaded area represents the dominant total volume, so whether there were more buyers or sellers, and the brighter shade represents the delta, so the difference between buyers or sellers. The larger the bright shade, the more of a difference there was between buyers or sellers. Note that regardless of what mode you select, it won't change the distribution shape of the profile, so you'll always know where the total volume was transacted. The row count changes the amount of rows displayed on the profile. By default, this is set to 200, but for example, here's 10. That being said, it's recommended to use an amount that is high enough so the volume distribution of the profile is clear and granular. Fixed ticks will change it, so the height of each row is based on the amount of ticks. Tick values are dependent on the asset that you're watching. If in doubt, just stick to row count. Origin will allow you to change whether the VPVR appears on the left or right of the MMT chart. This can be useful if you have other overlay indicators that might otherwise compete for space, such as the order book profile. Profile width will change the width of the profile relative to the chart, with 0.20 representing 20% or 0.10 representing 10%. Use this function to save space on your chart. Show values, when enabled, will show you the values for the volume transacted within the value area. For standard, it has the sell values on the left and the buy values on the right. For total volume, it will simply show you the total. And for total volume plus delta, it will show you the delta values, so the buying minus the selling, represented as a number. Point of control, when enabled, will illustrate where the point of control is. You can change the thickness of this line and the color of it. And then there's the value area. The input entered will determine the percentage threshold of the total volume traded over the visible range to be considered as part of the value area. Traders typically use 0.68 to 0.70 for their value area function. On the aggregate tab, we can aggregate the volume from a multitude of different exchanges and exchange types. That being said, most of these exchanges tend to operate at a similar price, so their volume distributions should be similar. In regards to utilizing the VPVR, its main strength is being able to automatically and quickly identify where volume has and hasn't been transacted, helping to illustrate areas of balance or imbalance in the market via the volume profile, and the resulting technical levels such as the val, var, and point of control, which help to function as support and resistance. The VPVR will automatically scale regardless of what time frame you're on or how zoomed in you are. Key takeaways. The VPVR, or Volume Profile Visible Range, is a dynamic overlay showing where volume was transacted at each price level, but only for the current visible chart range. It updates automatically when you zoom, scroll, or move the cursor. The core elements of the indicator are the high volume node, where price spent the most time in volume, represented as the widest area on the profile. Next is the point of control, or POC, which is the largest high volume node, often functioning as a balance zone, since buyers and sellers agree upon price. The low volume nodes are the thinnest distributions of volume because price tends to move across them quickly. The value area accounts for approximately 1 standard deviation's worth of volume, or about 68 to 70%. The top of this value area is the VAR, and the bottom is the VAL. These levels can function as support and resistance respectively, and also act as a directional bias for range rotations. For the display modes, standard simply shows you the selling volume plus the buy volume. Total volume will combine this together into a single value. The total volume plus delta will show you the total volume, the dominant side, and the delta or difference between the buy and sell volume at that particular price level. For recommended settings, I'd suggest the default row count of 200 or higher. The origin can be on the left or right depending on your personal preference. With 10 to 20% of the chart. For the value area, 68 to 70% is the institutional standard, and also enabling the point of control in value area levels is a good idea. The main purpose of the VPVR is to quickly and intuitively identify areas in the market where heavy or light volume has been transacted. It works on any time frame or zoom and requires almost no manual setup. This has been Krolic with MMT Labs. Thank you for watching this video on VPVR, and if you have any questions about this indicator, hit us up in the MMT Discord and we'll get back to you. Cheers.